your order at Taco Bell?
I normally get a couple of crunch wraps and creams. It's so good there.
Is that the
so
one
good.
where they wrap the soft tortilla around the hard taco shell?
Yeah, you know, I've made. Let me do a guest episode and make a.
And we'll do
homemade,
a from the Test
crunch
Kitchen
wraps
video.
and cream. It's an amazing product. It's good to go.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
good to go. Exactly.
Sorry. Hey everyone, I'm Claire. Today we are in the VA Test Kitchen and I am making gourmet Doritos. I'm pretty excited about Doritos. I have a sweet tooth. I'm a dessert person. I don't have like the gene that makes me want to just like eat crunchy, salty, snacky things unless it's a Dorito. All right, I'll start with nacho cheese. These are delightful in every possible way. They're so crunchy, not greasy, lots and lots and lots of air bubbles, so there's such an incredible light, crisp texture. And then of course, most importantly, the powdery spice flavor coating on the chips, which is perfectly even. Oh my God, what an amazing food. My brain and experience tells me that it's a plain corn tortilla chip with some kind of seasoning coating sprayed on it. I don't think that's in the chip because from a production standpoint, all these flavors, it's way easier just to spray it on top of a single base chip. You don't have to change the formula. My preferred flavor. These are very good. Maybe a little too sweet. I don't know.
Oh, they're so good. Why'd you do that to me?
Sorry. I need someone to follow me around this whole shoot with a wet paper towel. Spicy nacho. Truly excellent. Compliments to the Dorito people.
Dorito chef.
To the Dorito chef. Ooh. Of all of the kinds of snacks that I have tasted for this show, this has the most impressive flavor range. Often you have like one central product and then the variations fall quite short. These are all like pretty tasty. I sort of think from the beginning, like I'm not going to nail the flavor of Doritos. It's the equivalent of making Coca-Cola. It's like this is a closely guarded industry secret that no one can ever replicate because there's like some magic happening. But if I can make something close that has that same like addictive, delicious quality, then I'll consider that a success. You're a chip person. Where do Doritos fall on your list of favorite chips?
I mean, they're like the top of the top.
Uh-huh.
Like you can't stop eating them.
Yes.
And there's that weird sweet, salty, sweet, salty, salty, sweet sort of thing that goes on in your mouth and you just like keep on going back.
Your brain short circuits and then it's like, just give me more. True or false? Yeah. Doritos are the most perfect snack food ever made.
True.
True.
If you went to a restaurant and you had a bowl of these on the table,
Yeah.
you'd be like, this is incredible.
Yeah, but what's your flavor preference between the two? Because these are the classic flavors. Yeah.
I love them both. It's kind of like children, you know?
But really you have one favorite.
But really you have a favorite. If it was just for me, I would probably get Cool Ranch.
Do you think it's acceptable to bring in some of the flavor notes from the other types of Doritos?
That's a big question. I think they all have such strong identities as their own thing. You can't mess with that. If you're gonna do a Dorito, you need to do nacho cheese or you need to do Cool Ranch.
So which one would you do?
That's like, what's your favorite kid?
That's what Carla just said.
Nacho cheese.
Okay,
If
that's kind of what I'm
someone
thinking.
like hands me a Dorito and I don't
Yeah.
look at it, I'm expecting a nacho cheese Dorito.
That's
Look
such
at the
a good one.
saturation of that green.
Green and red and orange.
And it's practically like Christmas colors.
To me, like one of the most important things is the bubbly texture
Yeah.
of the chip.
Yeah.
How's that gonna happen?
We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens during frying. I think it probably has a lot to do with the thickness of the tortilla.
They're going to have to be really thin.
I know, because the tortilla is pressed, not rolled.
This is your biggest challenge yet. They spent like millions and millions of dollars orchestrating this exact mix of flavors. Scientists, actual scientists created this. If you can get anywhere close to it being an actual Dorito,
Okay.
I'll be super impressed.
Challenge accepted, even though that was basically you telling me you have no faith in this process, and that wasn't really a challenge.
Doritos. There's a difference.
Universal acclaim in the test kitchen for Doritos. Not surprised. So I think, to Delaney's point, maybe it would be more impressive if I created a homemade nacho cheese Dorito that really did the same things that the original nacho cheese Doritos do. Logic dictates that every Dorito is the same, but that some curl during frying and whatever do weird shapes. So I just want to measure one relatively flat triangle. We're looking at a short side of, let's call it 6 centimeters. Two longer sides, 7.5 centimeters. This is an isosceles triangle. You guys are isosceles? right? 2 sides of equal distance, and then 1. So in geometry, an isosceles triangle is a triangle that has 2 sides of equal length. Yeah, here we go. It's like the picture. Here's my thought. If I have my tortilla in a rectangle, I'll make the rectangle the width of the height of 1 chip. Basically, I can cut like this to make my shapes. I mean, I would actually have to cut a little bit more generously because they're going to shrink, but that's the basic idea. I love my little chart. I think the most important thing is that all the chips go in being the same dimension, same weight, same thickness, same moisture, and then whatever happens in the fryer happens. Time for my favorite part, reading the ingredients. Here is what's in the nacho cheese flavor. Corn, vegetable oil, parentheses, corn, canola, and or sunflower oil. Maltodextrin, parentheses, made from corn. Salt, cheddar cheese, whey, monosodium glutamate, buttermilk, Romano cheese, whey protein concentrate, onion powder, corn flour, natural and artificial flavor, dextrose, tomato powder, lactose, spices, artificial color, parentheses, yellow 6, yellow 5, and red 40. Lactic acid, citric acid, sugar, garlic powder, skim milk, red and green bell pepper powder, disodium inosonate, and disodium guanylate. I would say fully half of those are like very recognizable things, which is great. The red and green bell pepper powder, very interesting. We might have to make that ourselves here, but that to me, like, okay, immediately that answers the question, what are those red and green specks on the chips? There's a lot of things that are adding like a lactic tangy flavor. So like buttermilk, the cheese powder, whey, citric acid. These are the things that really tingle when you eat a Dorito. Because I know what a lot of these things are, it seems like there's a clear path forward when it comes to the flavor coding. On that note, shall we? First, let's see what Frito-Lay has to say. They like the word bold a lot. The Doritos brand is all about boldness. It's a bold experience in snacking and beyond. As usual, the website tells you basically nothing. Oh my God, I love this part. In the costliest redesign in Frito-Lay history, the 1994 company spent $50 million to redesign Doritos and make the chips 20% larger, 15% thinner, and rounded the edges of the chip. That cost $50 million. God, $50 million to make it bigger, thinner, and round? Oh, hey, Doritos Nacho Tortilla Chips, how it's made. Oh, how it works.
Once the chips have been pressed out, they're separated from each other and sent onto the ovens.
So interesting. The dough is formed into sheets and then cut into the shape and then baked rather than like griddled the way that a tortilla is. The baking stage is like driving off most of the water and then into the fryer.
Emerging from the oven, they'll spend just 1 minute in a bath of boiling oil at 175 degrees Celsius.
Okay, it goes dough, sheet, cut, bake, fry. So I'm gonna start playing around with like tortilla dough mixtures. Yeah, I had to change my apron because Kevin behind the camera said it was doing weird crisscross things. I don't know what that's called. So, moire? Okay. Here's the process. There's phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is the dough, making the chips. Phase 2 is the seasoning mix. Today we're just gonna focus on phase 1. So I'm gonna make 2 batches of tortilla dough, but in one version I'm gonna use 50-50 cornmeal and masa harina, and in the other version 100% masa harina, just to evaluate texture, rollability, flavor, all that. This is white masa harina.
What is it?
It's corn known as white hominy. It gives it this super earthy flavor. This is the base for a lot of dishes like empanadas, tamales, pupusas, arepas, etc. And this is a medium grind cornmeal. I think that I want to grind it a little bit finer. So I want to try now rolling these out, but first I'm going to let them rest a little bit so that those corn grains can really fully hydrate. Oh, Cabby, we have a tortilla press.
Oh yeah,
I can grab the stool.
door.
This one?
No, the other one.
Wait, what does it say? No.
Don't touch. That's Brad's handwriting.
It says don't touch.
Yeah, look how I'm touching it, Brad.
So even though Brad put a sign on our tortilla press that says do not touch, I'm going to use it. It is very heavy. This is the surface. You put the ball of dough down. Often you line it with plastic to make it easier to release the dough. You put the lid down, you clamp it, presto changeo, tortilla. I want to try a first round of baking and frying just to kind of see like what happens and if I'm on the right track. All right, so we have some curling edges. Not great. Well, the curled edges are partly because they were thinner around the edges than they were across the middle. I want to just try cutting them into some random shapes to throw into the fryer. visually, I like what's going on with the yellow corn a lot more. We can also switch to the yellow corn masa harina. The paler one's on my left, the all masa harina. I can tell, I don't even have to taste it. This is not what I'm looking for. It's very dense. There wasn't a whole lot of like souffling and puffing. Obviously very crisp, but like not enough airiness. Considering there's no salt at all, not bad. Like I get sort of a pleasant masa flavor. And now these slightly darker ones are the 50-50 mix with yellow corn. Okay, so neither version has that really bubbly, light texture. So something is not quite right. I might want to try another version of dough where I do the yellow masa harina and maybe a quarter by weight cornmeal, because I like the look and I like the texture variation, but I think the flavor is a bit too strong. So somewhere in the middle. And I then want to try griddling them and then frying them and seeing what happens there. So already a lot of bubbles forming. I don't know, maybe the whole thing just dries out way too fast when I do that because it's so thin. Let's just see what happens if I try to fry it. Appearance for starters, quite good, I think. These are a little bit airier. But the way that they eat, it has the aspect of being too thick because there aren't enough little micro air bubbles in there. I think that by griddling, like I'm drying out one side too quickly or too much. Same thing during baking. So I want to try a version where I just kind of like let it hang out at room temp on a rack, so there's air circulation on both sides. All right, so if you take a look at these, there is definitely more bubbleage on the surface. Color's pretty close. Thing is happening where I'm frying, but I'm also smelling the donuts that Chris is frying, and it's making me think that when I eat this, it's gonna taste like donuts, which is a really sad reality because it's not true. It's not brittle enough, basically, so I might have to further dry them. Maybe there has to be more variation in moisture between the top and bottom. So one thing I want to try is baking it at a hot temp very, very briefly on a rack to quickly dehydrate all the exposed surfaces and then see what happens. So that was 90 seconds. Maybe I should grease the racks. Well, that did not work. Taking it in stride. I mean, nothing about that really worked, but all these tests is all kind of turning out the same. I think more likely the issue now is about thickness, and I'm still a little bit curious about that step that we saw in the video where it's baked and then fried. I don't really know what that's about. So let me just try another few tests where I just get them a lot thinner and just see what happens. So I think what I could do is I can still use the press, but maybe build up some layers, maybe with some parchment, and this is another plastic bag. It has the effect of being thicker than they are because they don't have this airy open interior that I really am looking for. So getting them thinner, all it did was make a thinner chip with the same issues as the chips I was already making. For today, there's one final thing I kind of want to try, which is backing up to the beginning almost and trying to bake them again and get them rigid all the way before I put them in the fryer, because that's what we saw in the video on the conveyor belt. Ooh, great timing. I mean, still kind of the same. Sad. The thing that I thought would happen happened. The bad news is it's the opposite of what I want, which is they came out even flatter. I'm starting to understand why. They spent $50 million on R&D.
$50 million?
Yes, 50 Ds.
Wow, that's only half of your budget.
Yeah, right.
And you can do whatever you want. Why can't you put like a tiny bit of leavener?
Yeah, that's my backup plan. But why didn't Frito-Lay have to do that? Like, what are they doing?
Maybe they're frying them twice. Who knows?
They were like baking them and then frying them, which I thought was weird.
That's a whole. Everything comes back to dehydration.
I know.
How many of these videos have you dehydrated something?
I think all of them.
Yeah.
I think what you have to do is like the drying part is really just to dry out the outer layers, leaving like an inner part where there's moisture, and then that's where the bubbles are forming.
Put some tequila in it.
All right, well, as Carla said, it wouldn't be an episode of Gourmet Makes if we didn't dehydrate, so I have to go grab it because I want to get our red and green bell peppers dehydrating overnight so I can pulverize them into a powder tomorrow.
Always.
Yeah, always. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut my peppers into like wide, kind of like quarter lobes. And the idea is just to dehydrate them overnight on high. They're gonna shrink a ton, and I'm pretty sure that those red and green specks on the chips are from these. All right, tomorrow's a new day. So far, I'm not despairing. We'll see.
No.
I heard there was a situation.
Yes, that is a situation. Come with me.
Have you seen this?
I think Chris haven't seen it.
It pops the lid off. Yeah, the spores. The spores.
I'm waiting
The
for him
yogurt.
to come back from Hawaii. I was
Duct
going-
tape it.
And be like, hey, Brad, how is your yogurt?
Hazard tape.
Sorry,
Donuts.
Brad, we love you.
So, I just want to share with you some light reading. U.S. patent 6572910B2. Process for making tortilla chips with controlled surface bubbling. This was basically the jackpot. The freshly ground masa is sheeted, cut into snack pieces, and baked for about 15 to 30 seconds at a temperature of from about 575 Fahrenheit to about 600 Fahrenheit to reduce the moisture content from about 20% to about 35%. I think they mix those around. Again, there are a couple errors here. So what I took from this, and also from talking to Carla yesterday and doing some other research, is that I'm going to try to really crank the fry oil. I was initially going for a lower oil temp because when we were frying Pringles, I was trying to avoid putting color on the chip. But the problem with that reasoning was the starches in potato are going to color a lot faster than the corn chip. So this first test, I'm going to make a new dough using 100% yellow masa harina. Then I'm going to just throw it into the fryer at a high temp, maybe like 375, and then adjust from there. It's not enough moisture. So I also had some further thoughts about the tortilla press. I love this tool. It's a little bit limiting though because you can only make a circle as big as the base. I'm trying to make something more like slab-like that are long but narrow enough to fit inside.
You know the round part of the... Sorry, hold on.
Oh my God, yes.
For the last two,
Yes.
we never use these.
This
We never use them.
is perfect. Ah, it fits.
That's it.
Gabby's the MVP.
Works. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I truly did not think we were going to have something that perfect.
Yay.
Thank you, Gabby. Successful. So, it tastes like a pretty average corn chip. It's a little bit lighter as I eat it. This is better than yesterday, texture-wise. It's possible that I would get something that I'm looking for if there was just more water to begin with in this version of the dough. So with the same proportions, make another dough, except more water. Let's say 20% more hydrated. That sounds, well, I don't know if it sounds right. I'm just gonna guess. Gabby, this works so well.
I'm so happy.
You have, I mean, it was a
I don't
true...
show it that often. I don't want people to know. But I, like South American.
It was truly your
We do
moment.
things with like wire and we fix everything with tape. Remember when I fixed the ice machine
With tape.
with tape and
Yeah.
cardboard?
Yeah. All right, so I see already much more bubbling happening. This seems promising. Okay, so here's what we got. It's pretty good. Pretty light, pretty airy. There is that kind of like crispy dissolving kind of sensation from all those super, super thin pieces of dough, of crispy dough with air in between. But I think that I want to go wetter because I want, so what it seems like is more hydration, more bubbles, and I want even more exaggerated blistering. basically made palm souffle crisp, but with corn. Yeah, 3D Doritos. Tell the engineers at Frito-Lay. It's like now I've overshot the mark and they're too airy. I have one more idea, which is going back to this 90% hydration dough and just sort of cheating a little bit and adding a little bit of baking powder, which is heat activated. So it goes into the fryer. In the presence of moisture, it'll create gas. So we'll get some, hopefully little air puffs. I'm so tired. Alright, to the point, I've nibbled on these so many times, I do need to kind of taste the original just for the texture. It's kind of hard to assess the texture independent of the flavor, but let me try. Let me try compare it to this. Okay. But actually, like, not a huge difference. I want to ask Chris, even though he's probably going to tell me that they're like vastly different, but let me just ask him to taste. Oh, Chris.
I feel like some of the resistance in here feels like it's just like there's just something different happening with the masa itself. Like it's just ground to like a finer consistency here.
Right.
Do you feel like you're in a bad spot now?
Not a bad spot. I've just done so many small little tests of like changing one variable.
Yeah.
And there was one like test in the middle that was the most blistered air pockety one I got, and I'm not really getting it again. And I think it has something to do with like letting the surface dry a little bit.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of go back and play around with that. All right, so I have two very pleasing shapes, and the idea with this new trial is to start them drying out and to see if there's sort of an optimal level of like air drying that helps us achieve the best texture. I didn't turn off the timers at the right time, but 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It looks to me like the ones that were drying at 10 minutes got more bubbles on the surface. I think that's getting us to a pretty good place. For the rest of today, I'd like to kind of pivot to the flavor coating. And if I get that in a good place, and tomorrow I kind of finish the chip, hopefully I can put them all together. Well, first I want to check on my dehydrating bell peppers. I hope they haven't been going too hot for too long. Oh, all right. Oh yeah, these look nice and dry. So I'm gonna taste a little bit. Ooh, it's so sweet. That's like an interesting consequence that I didn't think about. Bell peppers are sweet peppers, so there's a lot of natural sugars there. So that should grind into a nice powder. And then I'm gonna collect all of my seasonings and powders that I think I might use in the seasoning mix. Okay, the reason I'm sticking to the ingredients in this case is because this is not a flavor that is trying to mimic another flavor that's like in the world. This is its own unique thing, and the only reference point I have for it is Doritos. I'm going to list every single ingredient I have out here on my little piece of paper. I have a 1/4 teaspoon, which I'm going to count as a single like unit, and I'm going to add them in parts, and I'm going to keep a tally of like how many parts buttermilk, how many parts cheddar, how many parts parm, how many parts whatever this is, white cheddar. I'm not going to use white cheddar actually. And then I can like be constantly tweaking. So because we're dealing with nacho cheese, I'm going to start with cheddar cheese powder. Let's say 4 parts, and now parm, same thing, 4 parts. Buttermilk, all these are guesses, but let's say 2 parts. Let's say 1 part garlic powder, 1 part onion powder, 1 part tomato powder, a 1/2 part each of the bell pepper powders. And I'm gonna do a 1/4 cayenne. Cayenne is all heat. A 1/4 citric acid, hopefully that's not too much. MSG, well I should go a 1/4 on the MSG because I can always add more, can't take away really. I'm gonna do a 1/4 sugar, 1/4 salt. What if I nailed it? What if this was like it? I could totally crack the code. That'd be incredible. Color is quite a bit more subdued than the orange on the nacho cheese, but it looks pretty good. I like that there's still visible flecks of green and red. It smells like a pizza, basically. I have a hard time with bags. Sorry. The problem is that, like, I taste all of these things, but I'm kind of experiencing them individually. I get the citric acid, and then I get some of the cayenne, and then the tomato and the bell pepper, and, like, it's a little weird. So I'm just going to go in and continue to, like, tweak and balance. More parm, more cheddar, more buttermilk, more bell pepper of both colors, and I'm going to add more salt. More MSG, half of onion, too. This is where I need Chris Super Taster Morocco to help me. The aftertaste, the finish, feels like pretty Doritos-y. It's the initial flavor assault that is going to like a strange nacho cheese place, but not nacho cheese Doritos, like a nachos. More salt, again. God, what is it? What is it? The Dorito. I don't want to keep eating tiny chip fragments. Oh, thank God. Chris. I know. Tell me about it. I need your palate. All I can tell you is that I can no longer taste.
Some very interesting things happening here.
Uh-huh. Always with the smell first.
Well,
Not in a bad
that's
way.
Like your first line of defense.
I know. Usually I just eat it, though. That's the difference between us. One of them.
I feel like the texture is
That's not my chip, first
perfect.
of all.
Great.
That's Whole Foods
Oh, I'm so
restaurant
sorry,
style
Claire.
tortilla chips.
The tang is like very assertive. I feel like I'm not quite getting the like cheesiness.
So
Like, is cheddar the right play?
it's like the fourth ingredient.
Wow.
They list cheddar and Romano. We have cheddar and
Romano?
and Parm. Yeah.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
It's right there on the label.
Wow.
So this is now with more of both cheeses. More salt, more MSG. That's it. If I got no closer than this, I would be okay. The second half is pretty Dorito-like.
I think the seasoning is really, really nice. The blend of salt and MSG is like working really nicely in
Yeah,
tandem.
a little bit of sugar in there too.
I do still feel like maybe you could go up like a little bit more, just if not for nothing else, for like color concentration.
On the
I don't think you're gonna go overboard with it. Like, you know, just
I hear ya.
working with like, you know,
yeah. All right, I agree. Let's go with 2 more.
it's getting really good.
It is getting
I mean,
good.
everybody needs to know it's like it's actually like really delicious.
Yes.
Like if you had a little shaker of that, like in
Yeah,
your
it's like the new
spice
everything
cabinet.
spice Dorito blend.
Dorito spice.
Would we get sued?
Probably.
Probably.
Anyway.
All right, let's try one more round. Wow, I think that really helped.
It's really good. That brought like the sharpness and that brought the cheese like right forward.
Yeah.
And the seasoning I feel like is like pretty much in lockstep.
Are we gonna call this done?
This is when the tide turned.
Yeah.
What's happening with the chips?
I took a break.
I needed a donut break and you needed a chip break.
Yeah. So this mix, as far as I can tell today, is as good as it's gonna be until I regain my sense of taste back. I'm not gonna tweak it any further for now. What I will do is I tallied up all of the relative parts for all of the ingredients that I added, and now I'm gonna go in to make a larger quantity. I don't ever want to eat these again, ever. I think I kind of did all I can do today, and it's worth it to finish for now, come back tomorrow, and hopefully kind of just do final tweaks to the chip and to the powder seasoning.
Cheese It, Keeps, Almond Joy, Day 3 Crisis.
Chris, not a good time.
How confident are you that you'll finish this tomorrow?
I'm pretty confident I'll finish tomorrow, if only because I've tried so many times. I'm more willing to say that I'm done without having achieved everything I set out to. Did that make sense?
You're going to give
My
up.
standards have lowered, is what I'm saying.
What you're saying is you're giving up.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I'll give up tomorrow at the end of the day, no matter whether I did it or not. And I'll just be like, I did it right, and then elbow to the ribs.
Which flavor? How many seasonings did you make?
Just nacho cheese.
Oh, you're not doing Cool Ranch?
No.
Really?
Emil, do we wear those?
Wow, it smells like a Dorito.
That's for sure.
Oh, they were black.
It's good. Can I be real with you?
Yes.
It tastes like a hippie Dorito, not a real Dorito.
What I think is happening there is like, this has like reveals itself in like layers of flavors. It's like first you get the cheese and the bell pepper, and then you get the this, and then you get the citric acid, and it's like that is just like all at once. I know.
That's what I got.
Yeah. What is it? What does it need?
Is there MSG in there?
This is, yeah, there's a lot of MSG.
I think that there's something about the fact that these are probably dressed when they're hot.
That's really interesting.
It comes out and it's hot. I mean, same thing with French fries. Like,
right, you gotta dress them
right
while they're
away,
hot.
so it's like really it clings.
Ah, well, I'm really glad you stopped by. That was very helpful.
Well, anything I can do.
Oh yeah. Have you ever had the Taco Bell Doritos tacos?
Why do you ask me questions like that? Of
I don't
course
know.
I have.
Oh, okay.
I love Taco Bell.
Well, we might have some later if you want to come.
Say again.
Maybe I want to work now on, before I go any further, a system for cutting the chips into the shape that I want. Sorry. I need Brad. Maybe I just make a stencil. It's close. I think I'll make the template a little bit bigger. So I'm going to do half recipes again of all the dough. I kind of want to try adding some of the seasoning mix just to see what that's like. With adding this mixture, it's going to throw off the hydration, but also I don't know how some of these powders behave once they hydrate and if they get kind of weird. And maybe it's going to make the dough harder to work. So I don't know. Let's see. I like the color. I like how orange it is. Yeah, I'll increase it by a ½ centimeter in all directions. Okay. Color is darkening quite a bit because I now have sugars in there. Ooh, that was something I did not think about. Darn, I really like that idea, but it did not work. Not only did I add actual sugar, but there's ingredients like tomato powder, bell pepper powder. All of those have natural sugars in them. And sugar wants to brown. Kind of sad. So now I want to try another batch of dough with just significantly more baking powder than I was putting in yesterday. I'm going to triple it and go 6 grams baking powder to 100 grams of masa harina. They are pretty light, even where there aren't big noticeable bubbles and blisters. I want to try some of the seasoning on the homemade chip. It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the texture and the flavor. It would be great for visuals if the chips looked really similar and I had that even coverage of blisters that were all kind of the same size. But having at least eaten that chip, the effect is kind of the same. Maybe I'll try to get like 6 cut out and then get a timer on them and just start doing some final test chips. So these are still a little bit warm right out of the fryer. I want to try tossing them in some of the powder. Not a bad coating. It stuck pretty well. Shape is great. Nice little curl around the edges. The flavor is really good, although it softened. It doesn't have that super crisp texture. So I have to fry them a little longer. But it's really Doritos-y. Chris, always with the smell first.
How do you not smell things before you eat them?
I just eat them. Thoughts?
Here's what's letting you down.
It's not crisp enough.
The texture
Yeah.
of the chip.
Yeah. It's not crisp enough.
It's nice and like opened up in there, but you're not getting those like distinct pockets of like crispy, chewy, harder.
Yeah, I have to fry longer.
But the flavor, oh
yeah,
seasoning perfect, cheesiness perfect. Just feels opened up.
It's pretty good.
It's like 75 miles an hour, like zoom.
Yes.
You know.
Okay. I'm getting some variation in the chip shape and texture. Chris, I agree with him. It's not quite crispy enough. I have to fry longer. But overall, this is definitely the lightest version I've made. So I'm going to keep going and just start pressing and cutting the chips as quickly as I can. Emil, what are you eating?
Is it here or what?
Yes, it's right here.
Holy lady.
Look at how orange it is.
It's very orange. This is the Flamin' Hot.
Oh, that's Cool Ranch.
It's like Lucky Boy.
So here we have Doritos Locos Tacos in... So the hard shell taco, the shell itself is Doritos.
Oh my god.
Is it Doritos flavored or is it just Doritos?
It's not, I think, as intense as a regular Dorito.
I agree. I can't taste it and not taste all the other stuff in the taco that because it's steamed in it.
I can't tell if the flavor of the taco itself is lost in the Dorito.
I know.
The Dorit. or if the reverse is the case.
This makes me more confident in my Doritos because that doesn't really taste like Doritos.
No.
And none of them really
It
do.
doesn't really taste like a taco either. It's like somehow by adding one thing it negated everything.
Yeah, I get it. This would taste great, like hot off the drive-through window.
As someone who just finished one, I would finish another one.
As someone
Oh
who
my
just
God.
finished 2, I would finish a third.
There you go.
Chris, are you interested?
I'm good.
Okay, so here's this dough. So I'm gonna ask Rhoda to come help me with just another set of hands to portion, press, cut, and get all the chips ready to fry. This batch looks really good, lots of little bubbles. This guy I really love, like the little folded over edge. That's really nice. And it's also nice to be able to get these going 3 at a time. I like the color because the color has sort of an orangish, yellowish tone, and I think that it's going to look good with the powder on top. I think that the undertone will enhance the orange color. And now, just to really make sure that these are fully crisp, I'm going to put them back in the oven to just dry for a little bit. Let's see. They're pretty low. Well, they got a little dark. Did they get too dark, do you think? I checked on them 1 minute ago and they were fine. Oh no. Is this too dark, do you think? I'm not remaking them. This is going so well. Something had to happen. My one chip in this huge bowl. They taste a little bit overdone. They're so toasted tasting now that that takes over and you don't really taste much of the seasoning mix. Tell Rappo not to come down. I don't want him to taste these. They look so bubbly and good. So irritated.
Maybe put them in the fridge.
That's not how it works.
All you have to do is make the chips again.
I know, but that's all I've been doing for 3 days.
We can do it together, Claire.
No,
I'll help you.
I don't want to do this anymore. Will you try it? It's like the coating is too thick.
They're pretty good. But I think you can do better.
I know.
We'll try.
Overall, the flavor is nice. It feels like it's trending, looking a touch dark.
Yeah, that happened.
What happened?
They
went too far in the oven?
Yeah. It's just so toasty that it gets in the way of all the other things that are happening in the powder. It's it needs to be more neutral.
Almost bland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night's rest. Come back refreshed.
And then you know
I
exactly
can
what
help
you
you.
need to
We
do.
can make our assembly line.
Yep.
I just hate that idea. Here's the plan. I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna get some sleep tonight. I'm gonna come in tomorrow. Rhoda's gonna help me. She's gonna be my emotional support, and then really get it dialed in. Hopefully, kind of one and done.
Do you feel better than you did 10 minutes ago?
Yes, I've been through this. What is it? Is it 7 stages of grief or something? I've been through that. I've moved on to acceptance. So I just needed a minute. It's the moments you want to capture the most when I most do not want the camera. So that doesn't work out very well for me. Thank God it's spring in New York. I gotta get out of here. I had nothing in my tank, so I was running on fumes there since about like 4 p.m. And then when things didn't go wrong, I really didn't have any kind of reserve. I went to the gym after, walked into the locker room, and walked out and went home. It's like, I'm not doing this. I think this is a good opportunity to go through the whole process and have it be really seamless and feel really good about it from start to finish rather than trying to like cut any corners. The main difference today is I am going to put them in the oven, but I'm putting them in at 200 where they're much less likely to take on too much color too quickly. What Game of Thrones character do I most relate to? It's hard. There's also, first of all, there's 1 million of them. I like all the Stark girls, all the Stark ladies. I like Jon Snow, but he's just like so Jon Snow all the time, you know? I think I do relate most to Samwell Tarly. Not necessarily my favorite character, but like he just likes to like read books. He's like not maybe the best warrior at all. The oil's been a little up and down, but we're right at 390, which is ideal. I have all my cutouts ready to go. I'm gonna just start adding again 3 at a time, like I did yesterday. The last chips just came out of the fryer. Now I'm going to put them into the oven, and I think I'm going to use a different technique for putting the seasoning on. I want to check. And I don't have to let these go forever, just until they seem really nice and crisp. This one has a tiny bit of bend in the center, so I'm going to do another 5, and hopefully that does the trick. 3, 2, 1. I think they look really good. They feel crispy, dry, not too oily. I'm just dabbing each one, using some paper towels to absorb any surface fat. And now I'm gonna dust them with my Dorito mix. They're basically identical in size. I think it's easy to like pick apart the aspects that are different. Like it's not quite as firm of a crunch as the original. It doesn't exactly have that smack you in the face, real like front of the palate kind of response, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it's delicious. There is no artificial off taste at all, which I do think after eating like your 5th Dorito, maybe you start to experience a little bit of that. And like a lot of those artificial preservative flavors to me, they're expressed as like a bitterness, sort of in like the very back of your mouth, and I don't get that here. The flavors are a bit more clean. Thank you. I mean, it's spring, even though it's 40 degrees outside. Just try this.
Just try this.
Yeah.
Hey, we're trying to shoot a video here.
She's got $20 in her pocket.
What? $40?
That's crazy. Every time I took $1 out, it was a bigger bill.
That is
That's
so
$43.
cool.
My God.
Here, you want $1?
I would never. I would.
For you, $1 for you.
Thanks.
$1
Yes.
Can I get one of the 20s?
I love
No, these are
Oh my God. Thanks, Molly.
You're welcome. Okay.
I like the flavor a lot.
Uh huh.
You have that sort of mix of sweet and salty, sugar salt sort of thing.
Uh huh. You get a little bit of heat, tiny bit.
Yeah, a little bit of bite. Mm-hmm. I would go a smidge less because it has kind of a powdery texture to it.
Okay.
You know, whereas
okay,
the Doritos, it feels a little bit more baked in
like,
instead of powdered on top.
Uh-huh.
It's like a powdered donut version of a Doritos.
Right.
But it's delicious.
But did I do better than you thought I was going to do?
Yes.
By a lot, right?
By a lot.
You had no faith.
I don't say I had no faith, but I was skeptical. This is your biggest challenge yet.
You
That was
really?
delicious.
You think so?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good chip.
It was a really good chip.
Adam approved. Ye of little faith. I would never find $43 in my pocket because I would never lose $43. Because I'd be like, where'd my $40 go? Gabby?
Yes.
Momentito?
I have parsley on my teeth.
No, do I have Doritos on my teeth?
No.
No, you're
Okay.
good.
I'm gonna have a few of these with a cold beer.
Yeah?
Yeah. Ooh, and have a little heat.
Yeah, a little heat. Little tiny bit of
I'm
cayenne.
getting it at the end.
Yeah.
Awesome. Are we calling them gavitos?
Yes, I love it. Chris, not that you're not busy.
You're done making Doritos, but somehow I'm
You're still making donuts? Always with the smell. Right?
The texture is finally there. where you get that shatter. It wants to dissolve. You get some bits like hold on. This has like an actual brightness, like an overt brightness that the Dorito doesn't really have.
All right, well, I feel really good about it.
Unlike you, I'm not done. I need to go fry some more donuts.
All right, well, we're here to taste test if you need.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. I'm actually quite proud of this one because it's not like an Almond Joy where it's sort of like, oh, that's an almond and there's coconut and chocolate and like I understand those components. It was kind of gratifying and cool to like feel like I did a decent job recreating something that I thought could only be produced in like a laboratory. Having mimicked it so closely with the homemade version, I'm like even more proud than usual. All right, here's how you make gourmet Doritos. De-rib and de-seed 1 red and 1 green bell pepper. Cut into eighths and dehydrate, then pulverize into a powder. Set aside. Combine 4 teaspoons buttermilk powder, 10 teaspoons orange cheddar powder, 4 teaspoons sharp white cheddar powder, 8 teaspoons Parmesan powder, 1 teaspoon tomato powder, 3 teaspoons garlic powder, 4 teaspoons onion powder, 6 teaspoons MSG, 8 teaspoons kosher salt, half a teaspoon sugar, 1/4 teaspoon cayenne pepper, 1/4 teaspoon citric acid, a 1/4 teaspoon distilled white vinegar powder, and 1 teaspoon each red and green bell pepper powders. Shake seasoning mix to blend and set aside. Combine 100 grams white masa harina, 60 grams water, 5 grams vegetable oil, 2 grams salt, and 2 grams baking powder and mix to form a dough. Knead until smooth, then cover and let rest. Press portions of dough in a tortilla press between plastic, then cut into triangles with rounded corners. Fry in 375-degree vegetable oil until completely crisp and just starting to turn golden brown. Drain chips on a cooling rack and dust generously on both sides with seasoning mix. Endless possibilities for this Dorito powder, right?
I think maybe that's our $1 million idea.
I think Frito-Lay is going to send us a cease and desist.
You think they'd want to get on board. It's like they had to spend $50 million to get that.
Yeah.
We're offering them like ground floor for $25 million.